Anyway, we have a match on our hands as LGD travel down this bottom lane with Arme on the Slark, X-Nova on the Lich, and FY on that Grimstroke as the tips come out for AU. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? You know, he's a stand-in, and they're like, oh, go on then, have a tip. We'll help you. And it's a big applause from the crowd as well as the counter tip comes out. And yeah, so Secret going for the IO AM. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, sure, why not? But yeah, it's not that classic gyro combination we talk about. I'm interested to see whether Secret decide to run a tri-lane with this Tuscan Wisp. Lizard was talking about it a little bit on the panel. We saw Liquid do it yesterday, where they had the, I think it was a farming Terrorblade, and then they had the Chen and the Tusk as well. I'm interested to see if Secret try and secure their safe lane with that first, before trying to move the Tusk away on the map.
And as always, if you think you know who's going to take this game, then of course you can go and place a bet over on ESBet, who are our official sponsors. Check for the details down below on the screen. You can get 125% added to your initial deposit. First time only, as Nisha sees Chalice, and have a little right-click wall here. Chalice has not leveled up the stun, so as makes sense in this, but this will be a rune for AU and Nisha as they manage to zone out the Slardar here.
He's going to lose half his mana for that though on the Slardar. Could be that's a big deal, lose a crush. But again, when you get to the lane anyway, you're probably going to be losing your mana, so not a big deal.
He's going to lose it anyway.
I'm a little bit worried for Secret this game, just before we start, that if LGD start snowballing their lanes, they have really good roach-taking potential, which is something we saw was a massive factor last game. LGD have played around that again. They've got the Slardar with the amplified damage. They've got the Meld as well. And how do I commentate over this? What a scene.
So beautiful, so peaceful. This truly is a beautiful, beautiful game. As the little ball of light fires his little mini balls of light at the fish.
Run away.
Stuns him up. Getting back to his AM. Now, this anti-mage seems to be having pretty free farm right now, and it's hard to see how they will contest this, as they're still trying to get first blood or at least secure Ame a good start to the game down here in the bottom lane with that Lich and Grimstroke combo. It worked really well for Secret, allowed them to get first blood last game, and then was a beast through the early and mid game. Didn't work out for them in the end. LGD, can they pull off a similar performance? It's a big ask. Meanwhile, at top, they will find the kill onto AU, and mid one not particularly healthy in the middle lane either. He's beaten down by that Templar Assassin.
Yeah, AU may be getting a little bit too happy with himself there. Grimstroke does TP in, maybe not expecting it, and with that combination with the Inkswell and the crush coming out, a lot of damage coming through. We saw it with Zion the Wraith King last game too. Combined with that Grimstroke.
I mean, Nisha, AU has fallen once here from that Grimstroke's rotation. Is this going to be a recurring thing, or is this just kind of the surprise factor of FY coming in?
It was probably a little bit of both. Mostly surprise factor, I would imagine. AU just got to be a little bit more careful with his positioning here. As long as he can always tether away from that Inkswell charging, the Slardar charging in. So, bash.
Yeah, the bash super annoying, but Nisha's just taking away Chalice's mana, so he's going to be very happy to just kind of trade some hits here. And he's also got an IO, so amplified health reading.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Chalice doesn't have a mango as well on this Slardar, so there's not really too much kill threat onto Nisha here. He can. Oh, he does.
Oh, he gets sped it by the FY as AU comes in. Nisha will be able to blink away, but they actually land the stun onto IU here. Maybe they can turn this one around as IU taking damage. Nisha, good thinking of coming back in, but no.
I got proved wrong instantly. I love it. FY just passes the mango to him instead.
Oh, X-Nova, what a little... Oh no, Puppy got it all the same. Never mind. But the Frost Shield comes out. It was a nice attempt, but unfortunately he will die. Puppy gets that kill. Thank you, Haste Rune. X-Nova actually tips Puppy.
I mean, if he'd have got that Haste Rune in the first place, then X-Nova would have died anyway, so he had to try and make that cute little play. Almost worked.
Almost.
Not quite.
Almost. Not quite.
This is the power of the Tusk Darkseer, though. When you put that Iron Shell on the position for Tusk, or position 5 this game, it just enables this game so much more, especially his early game rotating. We saw that last game from LGD as well, with all their melee heroes.
Meanwhile, we've got mid one suffering a little bit in this middle lane. I mean, he's got a lot of denies, 8 denies, 8 CS. Meanwhile, TA is currently at 14-11. Meanwhile, Chalice looking for AU on the IO, and the stun can come out from Chalice to secure that kill. Meanwhile, Nisha gets a lot of damage off onto FY, but he's going to salve himself up, but neither of them really have any mana to work with. The manual stun coming in. Manual stun? What do we call it?
Automatic weapon, I think. It's just
automatic stunning.
Charging up that stun and the bash. Chalice playing around that really well at the moment. This mid lane is a little bit of a disaster for mid one, though. I mean, he's got these denies, but TA's keeping up. He's, maybe he's got even more on this TA at the moment, so he's going to be very happy with how that mid lane's going.
Yeah, I agree. It always sucks to give a TA a good lane, but at the same time, OD can always just run back to the jungle and farm himself up quite quickly, especially with the changes to Arcane Orb recently.
This is what we said we were worried about, though. If LGD can snowball their lanes, get this first Roche, they really push for all the objectives. Secret are going to struggle to kind of push their lanes out here. It's only really Darks here that can kind of shove that momentum back towards Liquid side of the, LGD side of the map.
And rightly enough, once again, last game, Secret kind of struggled a little bit. They didn't have very good Roche taking, and that was kind of an issue for them and Jupiters in general. When do they take Roche at this game? Or at what point can they go in and get a decent timing on Roshan? I
mean, you have an AM, so at some point there's going to be a double damage that spawns out the Roche pit, as it always does.
True.
You can always just go and get it then.
Meanwhile, they throw the silence down onto the IO, but you will be able to tick that off pretty quickly as a double damage Tusk comes in to the top lane, and LGD catch sight of this and realize,
yeah, I really like the Puppy's rotated up here now. This Grimstroke Slardar combo has been causing them a lot of problems on Secret, and your Darkseer really doesn't need too much help down in that bot lane now. So you can just leave him alone, let him do his thing with the Iron Shell, make sure your AM gets good farm up in this top lane.
Yep. So pulling the creeps through and also finding that bounty rune as well, just dragging the creeps. This is good, yep. Dragging them right in front of his tower rather than putting them behind and just skipping out the creep wave entirely. And then Iron Shell's enough to push forwards. Meanwhile, oh, nice charge from Puppy. Going to save him from that Inkswell. He would have certainly been dead otherwise.
He's a pretty good player.
He is indeed. Pretty good captain as well, as Chalice takes a whole chunk of damage from mid one there. Miss up Hill, going to save him from a little bit more. But pretty much completely out of mana on Somnus now, but has a clarity.
I really like
Bottom
this.
lane, Zai could be in trouble as Assist Gaze is out. Arme needs one more hit. Zai, he's actually going to get away with the Surge, and even turns around for an Iron Shell as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, that TA in the mid lane there has just been giving a Sentry and Observer, and I really like that when she's coming up to that level 6.
Out. They are not done with Somnus right now as they run forwards. Arcane Orb dishing out a fair amount of damage. The Equilibrium not doing enough to give mid one enough mana to keep up the damage. And even so, I think Somnus had enough health to survive anyway, but still, the constant pressure on this Templar Assassin hopefully bring that middle lane back in their favor. And I like what Secret are doing, We've said Arme, he's probably going to have a good lane regardless. You've got a Darkseer, he's always going to get stuff from it. It's a great lane to just leave one person in, and then you focus trying to win this top lane, and then try and win the mid lane as well as Puppy rotates between the two. Now looking at Chalice as well, that tag team going to work, and Chalice gets taken down.
When's this tag team going to get a nerf? That's what I want to know. It feels like it does so much work, between the movement slow and the huge amount of damage that it brings. It's no surprise that we see most people maxing it out as their first skill.
Meanwhile, X-Nova has literally one item, and that is a smoke, so really, literally no items, because it doesn't really offer anything to you.
X-Nova doesn't need items.
Yeah, he's ascended the need for items. So Arme farming up this jungle again. Jumping between the lane and the jungle.
There's some typical Lich gameplay anyway.
That denying beep. Very true. So Silence comes in. Oh, he cancels the blink, and now the stun comes off as well. Chalice with the right clicks. AU coming in, though. He's going to help Nisha tank up a bit and get that blink away. Meanwhile, the second Phantom Embrace coming in. AU gets dropped. Nisha will kill off the Phantom Embrace and escape, though. But, oh man, the IO taking the gank for his anti-mage. What a hero.
Yeah, fantastic bit of play. They're just putting so much pressure on this top lane. We talked about how Puppy wanted to defend him, but now with the Lich coming through as well, there's so much control to be able to get some kills in this top lane. And your Slark doesn't need help against the Darkseer. He's quite happy to just keep regenning up with the Shadow Dance that he now has from his level 6.
That level 6 on Slark, so key. And, there's some games where you can shut a Slark down and other games where you just got to say, well, nice dodge from Zai with the Surge as well. Arme will not land that pounce. Meanwhile, the top lane, are you being hunted again? Chalice, can he find him? Nisha goes for the body blocks, but somehow Chalice worms his way around him. The tower right clicks coming in, but a nice tether away from AO there, and now brings out even the spirits to come and try and help get that kill onto Chalice, but Chalice, he's pretty quick. Nisha realizes that, well, he's got some creeps to hit instead. He can't waste his time chasing fishes.
Yeah, really nice Spirits by the Wisp, though. Cancelling that Slardar South to just make sure he has to go back to base. Can't stay in lane to keep harassing that AM.
Meanwhile, Traps popped on mid one as FY shows up on this Grimstroke, but no real kill threat, and feels very much like a lot of action happening between this top and middle lane. Meanwhile, bottom is kind of just this 1v1 between Zai and Slark, where Slark is having a pretty nice time, but Zai's getting a lot of money as well.
Yeah, this Slark seems to be a little bit scared that these heroes aren't showing on the map, such as Puppy, so just hiding in the trees down there.
And he's looking for Zai again. He knows what he's going to be up to, and unfortunately will be too late. Penguin's coming out, though. I think he wants some rotations in, and there is a FY on the high ground. And Zai going to creep camps, now gets silenced up as Ame jumps forwards, holding onto that Lich for as long as possible. As Zai gets taken down, they even rotate in the Lich as well. And I'm wondering if they're going to make any aggressive movements on Secret now they know that both the supports are down here, but it doesn't look like it.
Oh yeah, problem with Darkseer is in this matchup against the Grimstroke that you're probably one of the worst heroes at dealing with this Phantom's
nice shots
Embrace.
from Puppy, gonna hold still this Lich, but FY's coming in as well with that Phantom's Embrace, now level 3, I think, meaning that Puppy's starting to take it down. Yep, the FY is level 5, which means it takes 3 hits to kill the Phantom's Embrace, making it much harder for anybody with a not good attack speed to kill that Phantom's Embrace.
Such as the Darkseer. There you go. I can go back to finishing off my original point.
He's got not good attack speed.
I mean, this is my favourite Grimstroke build. When you go for the 1-3-1 and then you max out the Stroke of Fate after into the 4-3-1.
Chalice hunting for Ayu here.
He needs a tether target.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anyone making his way over. Mid one's just like, nope, I'm busy hitting creeps, my friend, and that will be a kill for Chalice. Meanwhile, it's FY, X-Nova, and Ame on the warpath in the bottom lane as they kill Zai and Puppy down here. Secret bleeding away. Quite a few kills in this laning phase.
AU did die to neutrals, though, on the Wisp.
Oh, okay.
So that's something. Good. They only lose 2. I mean, it's still really bad, obviously, but at the same time, AM is still farming up in this top lane. But at the moment, he's about 20% down on this Slark, so has to be a little bit worried here.
Percentages, nice. Meanwhile, TA in the mid lane doing much better than the OD. So a lot of Secret's chips are going to be on this anti-mage this game.
Yeah, at the same time, though, Zai is doing better than Chalice in the offlane, and I feel like a lot of the games we see at the moment on this patch come down to the offlane and how much they can do. It's all about the tempo controller with the offlaner in most of these teams. So until Chalice gets this blink, they don't really have great ways of initiating. It's kind of when the Slark gets a Shadow Blade. So AM should be relatively safe until the Slark decides to come up to this top area of the map.
X-Nova and FY show themselves on the top lane, but Nisha is well and truly out of this one. The Corrosive Haze will show him as he's actually going to pull these creeps for himself here. Yeah,
just wants to mess with the creep equilibrium up in the top lane, just so he can try and CS under his tower.
Meanwhile, Zai, interestingly, going for the creep pull again. This is very dangerous for Darkseer now, especially now that Leash cancels TP, and you cannot TP from inside the Leash, so if he doesn't keep a very close eye on Ame, then he might find himself in trouble. Or as FY comes in with the silence, that's going to be a problem as well, and the Leash will connect, and Zai does die.
He cannot kill that Phantom's Embrace, can he? No. They really need a... I mean, they... Oh. Ancient stacking, but they really need a ward some point between this Radiant mid lane and Radiant bot lane, because at the moment, whenever FY comes in, we've seen it twice now, TPs to the Shrine, the Phantom's Embrace comes through, and Zai is absolutely toast. They need to be able to spot these rotations.
Top tower is under attack. Look fantastic for Zai, but then again, he's got a good net worth, but he just needs to be really careful of these rotations.
Yeah, you see Puppy coming down here with a ward. I really hope he puts it down here somewhere, just in the Radiant jungle.
I mean, they've already got one looking over that rune spot.
Yeah, but it's not the kind of vision that you need. You need it further into the Radiant side of the map.
Thanks for that.
Looks like they're going to try and make a play down there, though.
Well, Ame switches up to the top lane, because I'm sure he's predicting Secret's movements here.
But this is what you want to do on the Slark. When you get your Shadow Blade up, go and play on the enemy's half of the map. You can farm in aggressive locations because they don't have great stuns. And, even if they do come, you can just Shadow Blade away. You're so mobile.
Yeah, this is a ridiculous timing on the Shadow Blade as well. What was that, like 12 minutes? And Nisha, I'm not sure he's aware of this. Although with mid one here, it's actually too scary for Ame to initiate, I think. No, he's going to go on it all the same. Counter spell is used and he'll blink himself out. X-Nova does just get dropped, so Ame just watches from the shadows.
Yeah, nice rotation though. They just need to make sure this AM's safe. Keep him farming in the jungle. And yeah, look, you see the ward that Puppy put in the bottom jungle there at the same time on the minimap, just so we can see that vision of where they're moving between the mid and the bot lane. Absolutely love it.
Do love some good wards, don't you? As the silence coming out onto mid one. The leap will be off the mark, though, and that will mean mid one does survive. Though they will use the Grimstroke ulti just to hold those two down. As Arme fighting it up with Nisha. Nisha knows he needs to keep Slark, even the Shadow Dance used from Slark. Meanwhile, I think that was an ulti from the Lich. FY gets dropped, though, and Secret will take that win.
That's a funny one. I love how the snowball gets bigger even though there's nobody there when they die.
Well, coming up on the 14-minute mark, Secret do find a bit of retaliation, so things not totally out of their grasp just yet. But definitely a bit of an advantage for LGD as their two cores doing very well, but of course Zai finding this money.
I still feel like it's all going to come down to this first Roche timing, though. If the LGD can get that online, just start snowballing, you know, trying to take as many outer towers as they can, play around this Slardar Blink that's going to come out in 600 gold.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Always
attack.
tempting, as there's actually a wall out from Zai. Is this from earlier or something? He just seems to walk into that one.
Oh, this
Now,
creep.
surging up. Yeah, the tomato creep is doing it. It's just staying on top of Chalice. He's just going to die to it. And now the creep, he's looking for more. This tomato's not done. FY, he's struggling here as well. Arme jumps in, will find Zai. He gets a bit carried away on the Darkseer. Oh, Zai, though. You got to appreciate it, though.
The thing is, though, at the same time, he's forcing so many rotations away from this top lane. Looks like Nisha's actually coming down towards this area, though, looking for something.
Yeah, looking for bounty runes is what it would be, and they will bottle it on AU here, but now the Sinister Gaze, and Arme just going to chop up this Lich. Nisha, did he blink in here? I think he did. I'm very questionable about that, as Secret just lose that IO and Anti-Mage.
I mean, he tried to blink in to be a little bit aggressive, but I don't think he saw the TA on the high ground. So as soon as you blink up, that meld hit comes through, all that minus armor, you're not going to survive on the AM.
That oh no moment. Well, a little bit of a dip from Secret now as they lose that Anti-Mage, which, as we said, is very, very important to this draft. But our Devourer picks up this Midas. Great item on this hero, I'd say. You know, a lot of haters of Midas out there. Gives you attack speed, which you really like on the OD, and helps him get even more farming, which with his new Arcane Orbs, he's pretty damn good at.
Yeah, it's okay. We saw him do this yesterday when they had their really convincing series against Forward. I think it was the third game, and it did really well for him. I think the most important thing is that they're trying to play towards the late game with this AM. So if this OD's going for a Midas, you know, it's kind of timing your whole team's win condition together, which OD wants to be focusing towards that late game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it might limit him a little bit in terms of how much he can be active now in this early mid, and LGD might be able to take advantage of that. I'm not sure, we shall see. But I mean, it's still a half-decent stats item on him just because of the attack speed, but it's a lot of gold to spend just for attack speed.
Yeah, he does benefit from the attack speed a lot, that's very true. I feel like that's one of the most underrated bits of the Midas. People don't really think about it, and so they might be going for this.
Chalice trying to jump away, and Puppey does fall short with the shards.
And you, yeah,
Main looking in this middle lane.
you talked about the tempo control on the OD, but Darkseer is doing a really good job at just forcing rotations down towards him. Yes, around this first Roche time it might be difficult, but they need to be able to soak up that pressure if they're going to win anyway.
Oh, IU. He stayed under this tower far too long. Does manage to get the tether away, though. Okay. All right. Zai comes in, save the day, and sends a Centaur flying at the enemy. So,
I love that they removed the movement speed cap.
It's great, isn't it?
It's so funny.
It's terrifying, isn't it, as well? Like this Centaur just comes flying at you a million miles an hour.
Oh, they're smoked up.
Yeah, X-Nova and FY looking to get some shenanigans going in this bottom lane as Chalice TP's in as well, but Nisha, he is wise to it as he blinks away. Going for this ancient camp, but there's pings coming out. They know what's up. LGD will lead the charge, but Zai, he's actually come to tank this ancient camp for Nisha, and that might be enough to hold back LGD, but it does give him a soulbind target.
Blink.
They have the soulbind target, they have the blink. In we go with the Chain Frost, with the Grimstroke ultimate. It bounces the two Chain Frosts around. There's no way Nisha and Zai are surviving this one. AU in trouble as well. The Chain Frosts do so much. Io is popped, and now mid one not looking too good himself. As, well, the Centaur does
the TA as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're just on top of him, all over him. LGD relentless with their pressure.
Yeah, fantastic ward from LGD up on the high ground by the Dire bot tier 1 as well, allowing them to see them farming Ancients. It's really important when you're up against this AM that you throw the Phantom's Embrace from the fog before he uses that counter spell. Otherwise, the Silence is going to be coming right back towards you. And fantastic initiation by the Slardar with the reveal on the blink. They're right back in this. Well, I mean, they were never out. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You get the kills, get the first Roche, and just start snowballing.
This is exactly what Secret didn't want to happen. LGD snowballing through this laning phase. It could be worse. 18 minutes, 4k gold. But the Aegis does make the deal a lot more sour for the Secret.
Yeah, they're doing a good job here, Secret, at just making sure they're keeping up with some kind of net worth pace at least. They really need to try and get to this late game. And AM, when he gets that Battle Fury, he's got it in about 600 gold, so it's not far away. He can, you know, really increase the tempo of his farm and look to try and fight into that Slark in the later stages of the game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, Grimstroke's got a Hex queued up already as it's like the second item.
How do you feel this IO is kind of working in this draft?
It's a bit weird, isn't it? Because they don't really have great relocate setups and they don't really have anyone for IO to play with.
Ooh. Okay, the Astral Imprisonment out. Onto Arme here, but of course he has that Shadow Dance, so we'll be able to survive. And actually the initiation from Chalice on the back one's going to keep him locked down. Mid one struggling to deal with Arme, and the Chain Frost again with that Soul Link. Well, actually the Astral Imprisonment going to keep it off the, who's inside there? Zai for now, but still gets finished off by FY Stroke of Fate. The Sentinel gets it too. Mid one comes forwards and annihilates X-Nova. Meanwhile, the rest of LGD will back themselves away, so surprisingly, a lost fight for LGD, but they only lose one, so, you know, a bit committed. And they actually get Zai as well, so I'm not even considering that a loss, really.
Yeah, again, at the same time, this AM's still farming up in the top lane, so they're just making space for him, trying to get to this later portion of the game, like we mentioned. And, yeah, it was a really good Chain Frost with the Soulbind, but unfortunately, it was next to an Ancient Cap.
So, Arme up onto the high ground, finding Nisha! Nisha! What, that Mana Void annihilated Arme!
They got him.
Okay, the Slug's dead.
That's so much gold for Nisha.
677 pennies in Nisha's pocket. Now Chalice. Well, Secret. Good nice shots from Puppey. Going to keep Chalice on that low ground. Snowball in as well. Nisha joining the party. Chalice trying to swim away. Not quite happening as the Astral comes out from mid one. And Secret will surround this Slardar and kill him.
Yeah, fantastic play. And the best thing about that Slark kill in the top lane as well is that AM has his Battle Fury. So not only does he get the gold for the kill, but he's also getting the time and space where Slark's not on the map, so he doesn't have to be afraid of Arme. Really good turnarounds by Secret here, getting some key kills, just reducing this gold deficit. And LGD getting a little bit sloppy after getting this first Aegis. They really wanted to kind of take this 5-on-5 engagement, which Secret aren't really giving them at the moment.
Nope, Secret, I mean, it looked bad at 18 minutes, but coming up on 21, and this is still a 4k net worth advantage for LGD, which isn't as much as perhaps it could be. And they're playing very well around LGD right now, but can they keep it up? I mean, they've still got a long way to go, but Anti-Mage, he is farming.
Yeah, this DA has to be a little bit careful here. There's only a couple of them down here. The Lich just behind, but it looks like they're going to be wrapping in from the left-hand side on LGD here. Are they smoked up? Yeah, they are.
Somnus leading the charge. Nisha blinks into them. This could be troublesome as they come forwards with the TA counter spell used. Nice snowball coming out from Puppey. Gonna save Anti-Mage, allowing to blink away. And now they'll tether up, and everybody's out. That's absolutely fine. The surge out from Zion. Secret. Well, Puppey saves Nisha, and Zai saves Puppey, and everybody's smiling.
Saving Private Nisha.
Yeah, absolutely. A chain of saves. But LGD, they do have this pressure, and they will take down this tower with this Desolator on the Templar Assassin. Aegis still going, so while Secret don't want to take a fight, and they are doing a great job of playing around here, the pressure is still coming out from LGD.
I don't know if you caught your eye on that, but mid one's actually building a Hex again. He's going for the same build that he did against forward. Midas straight into Hex. Obviously a very, very good item against the Slark because he can't purge it off. And if they can just keep Arme locked down, they do have the damage to be able to output.
AU being jumped on by Arme here, and I have a feeling that mid one, well, he's just trying to get away for the tether. And Centaur actually coming in, stunning up Arme. They're going for something here. Mid one coming into this fight, drops the Sanities, but Arme solo gets off the Shadow Dance and will drop though to Puppey. Meanwhile, Chalice drops mid, one is dead. The OD is out, Chain Frost bouncing around doing a bit. Asomna's trying to fight it up, but he is the Aegis carrier. Meanwhile, still fighting Amnesia around the trees, but the Meld Strike, it fades! Oh no! And now Zai, well, maybe they can get something here. Zai's going to go down along with OD earlier, and of course IU dying at the start of the fight. So 3 kills coming out for LGD, but they do lose their Slark and their Slarda. Secret aren't going to be sad about that by any means.
Yeah, this is really sad for Army though. These couple of deaths in the last few minutes have really hurt him. Slark's more of kind of like a snowball type of carry, more than this hard carry that we see in heroes like the Deucer, the AM and the Terrorblade. And we saw it last game from Nisha when he was playing Slark as well. Eventually you are going to fall off in comparison to these harder carries. You've got to keep this snowballing going from LGD. Fantastic sanities eclipsed by the OD and the follow-up shards from the Tusk just to be able to finish Arme off.
Oh, Chalice barely misses the stun onto Nisha as he blinks away from that one. And Nisha now second in net worth, followed by mid one. Secret is slowly turning this game around. I mean, TA still taking that top spot, but the Slark not feeling too happy about this so far.
I mean, even OD's ahead of the Arme in terms of net worth now, especially with that Midas, like we mentioned before, really helping him to scale. They're doing a great job here on Secret. Just keep soaking up the pressure. Keep Nisha alive.
And LGD coming on to this bottom tier 2 tower and pushing it and blinking away.
They're just chilling a little bit here.
Is this a replay?
I think
this is live.
I think this is live, and we heard the sound of the replay.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Never mind.
It
It happens.
And now we're back. Yep. We got our sounds back. The replay overlay is gone. Sorry about that, everybody. We're back in the zone. It kind of caught us off guard.
Yeah, we've got the ward being dropped down by Xnova. They really want to be seeing AM in this top half of the map farming up, and especially having that ward around the Roche pit for the next spawn is always going to be nice. Secret smoked up here though with this Hex on the OD, trying to look for some kind of opening.
LGD scared a little bit here, probably for the first time in this game. They are fearing the side of Secret. I mean, this Hex is so scary. We saw how much work it did versus Forward Gaming. Slightly tougher opponent now in LGD. We'll see if it still has the same effect.
Oh, here we go. Oh, it's the replay from a little while ago.
Ah, there we go. The Phantom Embrace coming out onto both with the double chain frost. It's so beautiful to watch. They both just get annihilated side of Secret and then bounces across to AU and takes down that OD as well.
The problem for LGD is though that they got this great fight before, but they haven't really had a good one since. Like that was the best thing that happened to them this whole game. And yes, they got the Roche, but they didn't really do anything with the Aegis.
Xnova looking very happy with himself right there. Meanwhile, Puppey punching out, actually forcing out the BKB from the TA as they jump in with the Hex as well, up onto the cliff as well. Chalice held still. He is gone. Xnova and Chalice taken down by Secret as they find their momentum. And, well, looking pretty scary in this game number 2.
Perfect combination by Secret there. They had the ward on the high ground as well, so they saw absolutely everything around. They knew there was only 2 heroes there, and they just punished them completely, even forcing the BKB usage on the TA as well. So look what they're going to do.
Yep, up onto this high ground, led by Nisha, overcharged from AU on the IO, which is quite the mouthful. It's okay.
The Hex comes out onto the Slark. They did have that sentry ward down, so they know that he's going to be trying to sneak in. And they get a tier 3.
Secret just feeling really hard. Oh, nice tether in front. Ame, but Ame, Nisha's just trying to turn around him. He actually forced to pop the Shadow Dance. Meanwhile, the Soulbind is out onto Io and mid one. Armed with the BKB, able to back out. But Nisha just finds maybe. The Mana Void rips him apart. Your TA is dead. Now the Hex is down here as well as they bring back Chalice and kill him also. Oh no, LGD, they try to pick off Secret as they back away, but Secret just turn around and fight and take down 2 again. And they only lose Puppey, and they're going to claim themselves a set of racks in return.
TA didn't have a BKB up still, and she still tried to jump in and fight, and this is what happens. This is why the BKB charges are so important. If you can force them on early on before the fight starts, it makes it so much easier to take the fight straight away afterwards. And he has a Basher and a Manta on AM already. He feels like he got his Battle Fury not too long ago.
Yeah, it was a really rough start, and you know, you can't criticize Secret at all for the way they play this game. The laning phase was rough, maybe you can talk about that, but then coming into this mid-game, they've just played LGD so hard.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen a game turn around quite so quickly in a long time, especially when it's at like this 25-minute mark. Yeah, maybe at like the 40, 45-minute mark, but this early on, there's been such a big momentum swing.
Yep, yep. And, you know, it doesn't reflect too much in the net worth, but, you know, when you're watching the game, you can just see how the dynamic has shifted in this match.
They're like LGD again. They get these 2 BKBs on their 2 cores, which you mentioned last game. That's the time they want to be playing fast and really trying to end and force the game. But with the last couple of fights going so badly, what have these BKBs really achieved?
Yeah, I mean, LGD, we were kind of expecting these BKBs to basically be the big turning point, but it just wasn't the case. Now Secret smoke up.
Oh, there's Greaves on the Dark Sea. You've got this IO backing you up as well. There's so much sustain from Secret in these team fights.
Yep, and the bottom lane might be pushed up a little bit. Oh no, Ame shows himself, but does manage to leap away. Oof.
Couldn't quite get the Hex off on the OD there. That would have been the big one.
Yep.
Very close.
Getting out by the skin of his teeth.
Unfortunately, doesn't have that maneuverability item yet, which can make it difficult to get that Hex off.
Well, 29 minutes into this game. I mean, I feel like LGD needs to somehow make something happen.
Yeah, but how? Like, the Roche is up, which is what they really want to be fighting around. If they can use these BKBs well in the next fight, take the next Roche, that would be the best thing that could happen for them, but they need to make sure they get the jump, especially before this OD gets the Hex off, as he has been in the last few fights. There's a Hex on the Grimstroke.
Oh, this is big from LGD. And I'm not sure this will be expected either. That's the GPM talent coming into play for FY, as he just rushes straight for it. I'm actually surprised he managed to get this amount of gold. What's his net worth? I mean, yeah, he's actually taken over as a 3 position pretty much, so.
Yeah, I mean, look at this Slardar. We talked about how he was having a little bit of a rough laning stage and how important these position 3s are.
He's got
Chalice.
BKB of his own. I'm not sure if that Sentinel would have got his movement block. Meanwhile, LGD into the Roche pit, and Secret are pretty far away, so I'm not sure they're going to be able to do anything about this, which is a bit of a problem. They only now just make their way over way too late. Sumnus will pick this one up, and I'm almost thinking that LGD might have wanted them to go there because that would be the perfect Hex reveal. And of course, with the ultimate as well, that is a double Hex. You basically got 2 Hexes on your team, right?
True, but at the same time, Secret don't take that, but like, there's no timer that they need to finish this game soon. So if they have this Aegis, they can carry on doing what they were doing before. Just wait the game out, extend it further and further. Your AM is the biggest carry this game. He's not on a time bomb. Just keep him farming. They want to make sure they have the right initiation for the right fight. Don't take a bad fight just because it's around the Roche pit.
Right. I mean, I think they smoked up on site and make their way over to it, but I don't know if they actually, maybe you're right, they didn't want to initiate onto that.
I mean, it's so difficult though if you know LGD are going to have that vision advantage in the pit. These Hexes are so important, and making sure you get the jump for LGD, like we said, is the key point to winning these fights.
Also, how frustrated are you if you're FY? Like, you're like, guys, I got like this sick timing on my Grimstroke side of the Vice. Next fight, I'm just gonna blow it out. I just need to stay out of sight and get that awesome reveal. Jump forwards, to Puppey, but Puppey forced Staffed away.
I love this pickup from Puppey as well, going for the Ghost Scepter. He did it last game on his Lich as well. It negated so much of the damage coming out, especially from these physical cores like the TA and the Slark. They don't really have a huge amount of magic damage. It's only kind of this Lich. So this Ghost Scepter is so valuable this game.
Also, his 4-staff on Zai is amazing as well, because of course with the Surge he is the savior, and 4-staff is one of the very few things that can break the Slark's leash now.
Yeah, and we've seen some fantastic 4-staff plays in the last few days, and long may it continue.
So LGD looking for some action across this map. I mean, this is kind of like what we were seeing around the 18-minute mark, except LGD were finding the fights. But now they're kind of not. Zai invised up nearby.
200 gold. Won't say no to that on the slot.
Okay, oh no, they get the Corrosive Haze up on Zai. He needs to get out of here, but the stun 4-staff up to the high ground from Zai. He's going to be okay. There was a relocation, but they cancelled it. They didn't need it. There was no fight there.
Do you know, one thing I want to point out while there's a little bit of downtime here is that I find it really interesting that they've picked Wisp on Secret for AU when he's a stand-in for the team. You know, maybe the communication's not quite there between them. Obviously, it's very difficult for us to tell. So far, you wouldn't notice at all because AU's been playing very well on this Wisp, but especially in these like really clustered fights in the late game, it might become a little bit of a problem for them.
Yep, so watching from home, maybe shifting in his seat nervously a bit.
I saw him posting on Twitter yesterday, giving a thumbs up for their performance against Forward.
I see him still watching the game, supporting his team.
I mean, Dota players don't really take breaks, do they? They just play more Dota.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, so many players like take a break and then you just see them streaming on Twitch or like playing a ton of pubs. But you know, that's it's different though. You know, playing pubs compared to scrimming every day. You know, drilling, training yourself. It's much harder than most people give them credit for.
You can't leave the game when you're a pro player, and the game definitely never leaves you.
Oh, what philosophy!
Amazing.
Meanwhile, Zai can just four-staff himself away from Ame. It's just as easy as that, and Ame's like, oh, okay.
There is a butterfly on the TA now, so that evasion going to be helping in increasing our damage output as well. Always nice.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of farming up out on LGD as they're actually overtaken, both the cores, the farming cores anyway, have overtaken. Oh, Hex out onto the Slark here. This could be big. They can bring. Oh my god, the Sanity's Eclipse! Where did Ame go? There's just a crater left.
He has the cheese, but he can't even use it because of the chain stuns. First with the Hex, and then into the punch, and that's just enough time for the Sanity's Eclipse that comes down after.
I mean, the guy has got... he doesn't even go for a blink. He doesn't even go for a single mobility item. Mid one's just like, oh yeah, it's easy. Hex, Shiva's Guard, boom. That Sanity's Eclipse does so much damage.
Yeah, it is surprising he's doing quite so well at getting these Hexes off, but Ame being a little bit aggressive there.
I mean, you can feel the frustration coming off him, though. He's playing the Slark. He wants to find kills. He tries to go for Zai, 4 staffs away. He wants to keep this momentum coming in, and it's just not happening for him.
Guess what we've got, Nomad?
Buybacks are available. Double damage Nisha, though. That's what we have. He does get hexed up, but it's only the singular with the Soul Bind, but there comes a Chain Frost as well. Double Chain Frost gonna land onto Puppey, but we'll just jump onto Crit. Okay, Puppey taking care of the Astral, gonna save Nisha from so much of that damage, but they jump onto AU here with the BKB. TA takes down AU, but Ame back into the fight, immediately dead. No buyback. Mid one, though, taking damage. They have to be careful, but Somnus' BKB now runs off. Vacuum out from Zai, gonna hold him still, but he still gets a kill onto mid one. Meanwhile, Nisha onto the high ground, takes down the supports, now stunned up, looking into this fight. Can they actually bring him down? The stun's out, but Nisha blinks away. The anti-mage is going to be able to get out of this fight. The Aegis popped on that Templar Assassin as they will be able to finish off Zai. So LGD hold, but it is costly.
Yeah, they got the die back on the Slark. Chalice bought back, X-Nova bought back, FY bought back. Like you say, that's so expensive, and they don't even kill Nisha, the big core this game. Secret have buybacks as well. I'm pretty sure LGD are going to want to force them here. Otherwise, the next fight, when Secret have the buybacks and LGD don't, it's going to be so difficult for them to take a fight.
But this isn't easy for LGD to force, and I'm not actually convinced they're going to go for it. When you have an IO on your team, you just buy back and relocate into the fight. There's not even a TP to worry about, and that is so scary to play against.
Can we just talk about the saves in that fight as well from mid one? Just the Astrals were so on point. He kept the AM alive during the Chain Frost. He kept himself alive, and he just dodged out the Crush as well. Mid one playing so well this game. Nisha might be the big core, but mid one certainly no slouch.
Nisha here not actually holding buyback, just going for the Satanic instead.
But how does he die?
I mean, oh, hello X-Nova. Okay, Nisha. Okay, he finds X-Nova. Abyssal will come down, and that will be the Lich dead.
That's a 90-second Lich death, though, because of the buyback.
Yes, that is a dieback from X-Nova, rather, isn't it?
They might look to just go again, Secret.
Somewhat troublesome.
I mean, what are they waiting for? Maybe Sanities, but it's back up again now. They used it to kill the Slark the first time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they want to farm these buybacks on the AM and the OD, as they have just gotten rid of their own. But if they're confident enough, I mean, they're funneling down to this middle lane.
There's an MKB now on the TA, and she does use that tome there to try and get towards that level 25.
And of course, LGD, they might not predict that neither of these two have buybacks, so Secret will definitely want to work that to their advantage.
It's so difficult for them to kill this AM, especially when he's going for this Satanic with the status resistance like we talked about last game. How do you deal with this?
He just jumps in onto the TA, going straight away, but the Silverine Crush is out quickly. Mid one with the Sanities, takes down the Templar Assassin. She is dead, no buyback. Ame's in the fight though. The double hex does come through, but not doing a whole lot.
Ame has to pop the Shadow Dance defensively though. How are you supposed to get into this fight? TA has no buyback.
Good game, well played is called. LGD will lose the second game to Team Secret, drawing it to a 1-1.
Wouldn't be a Mo Farah Nomad Casters tournament if it didn't go to a game 3, would it?
Literally all but one of our games has been a game 3. Sorry, Odeon,